Alright guys, let's keep coloring on Donatello here. We got his skin color and his shell belly colored yesterday, so let's work on his belt and shoulder strap and his knee and elbow pads next. So I'm going to make those a little darker than the shell. So let's go with, let's use 104 as the highlight. If I can find it in my colors over here. 104, there it is. So 104 is called brown gray. And then for the mid-tone, I'm going to go ahead and use 101 again. I think I used that for the shell. So it's yellow ochre. And then for the dark spot, I'm going to go ahead and use, let's just use 99. Okay, and that one's right there called bronze. All right. So we got 99, 101, and 104. Okay, so I'm going to start with the highlights. And just my fine tip there for the smaller areas. I'm just going to color in highlight there, there, and do these one section at a time. I'm going to go ahead and jump to the mid-tone this time. Color this in. There. Okay. And there. And over here. So. Alright, so now the bronze for the shadow area. Don't need a lot of shadow. Just kind of break it up. Okay, so I got the main colors put on there, so I'm going to grab that mid-tone, the 101, and kind of blend that into the shadow area a little better. Okay, and then go ahead and grab my highlight, and blend that in with the mid-tone a little more. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty good. So let's jump over. I'm going to go ahead and do his elbow pad over here with my highlight there, and go ahead and do his wristband, and not a lot of highlight because this part of the elbow is going to be mostly in the shadow. Let's go ahead and jump down to the mid-tone, right here, there, there, here, and the darker shadow there on the side. Alright, these blended on their own pretty well. I'm not going to mess with them anymore, except for right there, a little white dot. There we go. Okay, so while I've got my shadow, I'm going to go ahead and color in the shadow areas of his knee pads. There. Mid-tone. And go ahead and get that highlight out of the way. Okay, so getting pretty close to being done here. I'm going to use this bronze here for the shell. I want to make it a little more, have a little more of a red tint to it. So that the bronze is going to be the dark color, but then I'm going to use 94 for the mid-tone. That's the brick brown. And then let's use 108. Or is it 103? Okay, 103. So 103, and that one's going to be potato brown. Alright, so you can't see this real clearly. So let's just color in with the shadows down here with the bronze. And then maybe we won't see much of the highlight and mid-tone, except maybe right here on this part of the shell here. Okay, then I'll come in with a little bit more red tone in there, maybe touch it up here and there just to give it that color temperature there. Okay, and finally, let's use the fine point there. There we go. Okay, maybe color that into the darker area some more. Okay, so we just got his stick. You know what? I'm going to use the same colors that I used on his shell. So this potato brown is the highlight, so it's going to have a nice piece there. The middle part here, it's going to be covered in, like I don't know what it's called, some kind of tape, baseball bat tape. So we'll leave it for now, come back later with some gray. Okay. I'm just coloring the whole stick right now with my two different shades. Now I'm going to grab my darker shade and get the end of it here, which would be all in shadow on that end. Just come in, add a shadow there under his hand, another one over here, just a little random bits there to give it some shape. Maybe underneath there, give it a rounded bit. Okay, so let's grab the gray, this very pale gray. Let's see, let's go with GG3. GG3, and that one's labeled as green gray. It's got a very tiny bit of green in it. And, well, let's just use GG5. GG5, CG5, where's GG5? GG5. This one's also green gray, but it's a little bit darker. I'm just going to use these. Actually, you know what? I was just going to use those two, but I'm going to go ahead and throw in this CG1. That's a very light gray. Very, very light. So that's going to be my highlight here along the top of that. And you know what? Also in his eyes, a little shadow on the top of his eyes, so it gives him a little bit of shape under that band. That's not a bandage, but a bandana. Okay, so now the little bit darker for the stick. Okay, and then finally, even darker for some of the little fine tips, for some of the little spots in here. Okay. Oh, and also inside his mouth. Let's use a really dark reddish color. So I'm going to use this number 1. That's labeled as wine red. That's going to be inside his mouth. Here. Maybe over here. And then we'll use some of that gray. I'm going to use the GG3. Get it just right up here. Right in there. There we go. And finally, his mask. So he's got a purple mask. I'm going to use, let's see, I was going to just pick the colors out, but again, that's why I have this swatch. They don't always match up the way I want them to. Okay, had some stuff going on in the background here. I thought I'd pause it for a second. Okay, so let's choose our purple colors. I'm going to go with more of the bluish side of purple. So, and I'm just going to use 2 colors this time instead of the 3. So I'm going to go with, let's use number 73. Find number 73. There it is. It's actually labeled ultramarine, which is a purplish blue. And let's use 69. And that's a Prussian blue. Okay, so the ultramarine is going to be the highlight, and the Prussian is going to be the shadow. So I'm just going to come in here, some nice purple color on the top. There and there, maybe a little bit down here. Okay, and then the Prussian blue for the darker spots. Alright, so let me blend this together a little bit better. We are nearly there. The only thing I want to do now is give him a nice border. Okay, so I'm going to find my black 120. Remember in the previous episode I said some of these markers kind of stink like rotten potatoes, and this is one of them. Very strong smell, but it still works. So just outline around the outer edge. That purple bandana ended up being a little darker than I was anticipating, but c'est la vie. I'm just tracing out the outer border, just around the outside. I'm not going inside the drawing at all, just around the outside. Makes it look more finished when I'm done, like a sticker or something like that. If you're doing this as part of like a comic book or something, then you might want to leave it as is, or you might want to do this. I don't know, it's up to you. You're the artist. This is your oyster. World is your oyster, right? This is your world that you're creating. And then inside all these, and inside there. And there we go. We have drawn Donatello. You always want to make sure you sign your artwork. So I'm going to grab my ultra fine tip Sharpie again. D. Ward. And today just happens to be April 12th. So 4/12 of 2022. Okay, so thanks for watching and drawing along with me. Hopefully you got some good tips and techniques. So that's going to be it for Mr. Donatello here. Let me zoom in. Nice screenshot there at the end. Fill in the color. Okay, alrighty. See you guys later.